Surf's up. It's Mauisnake here for SkinClub, who are graciously supporting me and my content. We're going to be looking at Tanir's demo, where he had a 2.00 rating against Aurora on Train. Wanted to look at this one for a couple different reasons. One, Tanir is obviously a standout player coming from, I think it was Gun 5. One guy was telling me about him a while back. And yeah, he has been really, really good for Heroic. I love the low sense play where he peaks angles with so much confidence. Every time he's peeking, it's very focused. This guy doesn't waste a lot of time that he's looking around. He's not flicking his crosshair all too much. Everything is very direct. He's very sure of what he's looking at, and with low sensitivity, it allows him to capitalize on the fights that he takes. Even though Heroic lost this one, you can see like the first bullet accuracy for this guy is crazy. Okay, that's something that you have to pay attention to. But you see the first kill on this one, instant kill. Didn't get the second guy as easily, but the third guy that he really spots, he kills him in his second bullet. Doesn't get him there. Seems like he got accidented, but yeah, he's holding T main, waiting for the rest of his teammates to push on in, and yeah, the multi-kills, they're going to be coming. Yeah, on the T side here, he ends up with 13 kills, 6 deaths, 110 ADR, and a 1.74 rating. So, Molly to start, if people are unaware, that is the Molotov that's going to stop before the B ramp push. You need to be throwing that very consistently because it is so simple and easy for people to be pushing that. You see that his teammate at Pop died. His teammate at Pop died. He knew that he was getting pushed to ramp. It's very interesting that he smokes this and just turns around. He doesn't even really watch his back at all, almost at all, until the very end. Like, he could have been walk pushed very easily, but he just thought, I think, if they're going to push, they're going to full-on commit to it. And this is a really interesting mid-round from Heroic. I've never really seen this one where you lose all of B main control, and instead of actually trying to reclaim the round through, say, Ivy and T main, you just full 4-man Ivy. It's a 4v5. And they still went with this play. I don't know. This is a really interesting mid-round. It works out pretty well for them, but they almost lose this. Xantares gets a deagle headshot here in just a second. And, you know, it starts to get a little hairy, but yeah, they just stay in a group. They just stay in a full group, and they have really good procedures to clear everything. You know, he's checking for the flank. You know, a little bit of unnecessary flicking here and there, but mostly it's very, very conscious in terms of his efforts. So, again, throws the molly to stop the push, throws a nade as well in case they wanted to really just run through it. Decides to clear Pop this time in the default. This is a little bit more of a simpler play where he's clearing Pop out with a teammate. You know, he's jiggling this out. I'm going to look if he sees anybody. I know he spams this. You know, he's keeping his crosshair above the actual gap there. Okay, yeah, he sees a little bit of motion right there, and that's pretty much the most you can see. Tosses a flash out here. Not really, like, the best flash. Like, that doesn't really do a whole lot, unless the guys are, like, back of the bomb train, really. It's not a bad flash to throw, and it's just one of those things where I feel like there's got to be better lineups in the future, because a flash that just lands here only is really going to blind a guy that's, like, here. I guess if they're dead in the open, then sure, it does help out, but you'd think you'd probably want flashes that somehow, you know, go high left or something, or maybe something that bounces. I think one of my teammates actually has a flash where you throw it right off this and it bounces to land right here in front of E-Box. I think that's just significantly better too. And so here we go. Another default, actually on a gun round this time. Molly nade again. Waikady just pushes through completely. I think Waikady reads that utility isn't actually that good and you can challenge it. So yeah, you see that he goes right through that. So we go on to the next round. Back to Tanir. Kind of a crazy play, again, from Waikady. So this time he throws a smoke and a molly and a nade. Throws them really early. In fact, he throws the deep smoke to prevent any double push, like a high-low push. And then, yeah, still little worried. Look at this peek, also. Wide swing while holding it. That's kind of in case there's an opper there. The wide swing seems a little bit weird, but because you're going to make noise, but I don't think you really it's not really about making the noise. And again, like, look at how concentrated he is on this angle. He knows that the CT just threw the smoke there, and he's not expecting some BS plays. Like, Tanir does seem like the kind of guy that if he played a pug versus really wacky, puggy players, this might not work out for him, because he does want the fights to be coming at certain ways. If you go totally wild against him, like, he doesn't think you're going to push that smoke. Like, he really trusts his reads. So now he's just kind of playing this game where he took the whole Halls control, jiggles at the upper B area every few seconds. Like, it's kind of like once every 2 seconds or so, while kind of helping out. And you can see that, yeah, Molly comes out. Wycadia makes sound in just a second there, so he throws a nade that lands sort of on the edge. And then Wycadia dies, and now it's kind of up to Tanir to just be this sort of star player role. Linus and everybody's pushing. Tanir's just watching the flank still. This is a nice shot. That is a great correction. He sees the leg, instantly snaps to the head from Johto. I think it was the first bullet there. And then again, Xantares just jiggles him out there, gives the calm. You see the player spin immediately. A little slow. And then first bullet again to get Woxic. Like, this is a good Tanir game, okay? Like, his crosshair placement is already fantastic, and his micro corrections are so consistent and smooth. So, Molly early on to prevent the close rush play. You can see that's just to stop anybody from getting there. Good flash to help support for the take outside. Getting anybody that's in sandwich. You know, he's helping to be in tradable positions. Throws a smoke for Z. I think they double. No, it's a nade and a smoke. So you can see that that smoke is a little bit wide. Does come out towards the bomb train, which allows them to kind of push into the back bomb area. But still good. Still a good smoke. I'd say useful. More useful than harmful. Probably want it to be a little bit more flush for sure, but it's not like it's bad. And then now, yeah, just waiting for Madger. First bullet headshot, of course. And understands where Woxic is at this point. Not an instant kill, because Woxic jiggles a little bit more tightly. But yeah. You can see kind of his role on this team is sort of like light space taking. Perfect nade, by the way. Light space taking. And then he kind of goes into like a fallback sort of clutch player. Like, he's not a primary space taker, but he's definitely in control of his part of the map on certain defaults. This time around, he's throwing the Icon smoke. Funny lore. In the talent 10-mans, I was like, Ivy connector. What is this area? Ivy connector. I called it Icon. Yes, I will be taking credit for that. Cultural impact. You asked some of the people that were in those 10-mans, like Hugo, Henry G, a few other people. I was saying the name Icon. Some people will say that, oh, it's an obvious name. Obviously, you would call it that. These people have little cultural impact. They will not be naming spots or donk slides. Okay. Pushes on forward. Wycadia just takes the fight, sees that there's a player pushing him. Kind of a weird and risky move, I would say, from Tanir. Like, this time his teammates are going out towards A, but I think that's because they gave him a calm that there were multiple people out, so he wanted to see if he could take some space. So, sort of not really playing in a system there all too much, but kind of giving a plan B option. You can see how many nades that Wycadia is forcing out of them immediately. They molly, they naded, and Woxic already, like, got a leg off. Like, Aurora is being quite fiendish with this stuff. Smoke goes down. Wycadia's on the other side. Tanir is still sort of standing here because he knows that there was so much pressure. Like, if Woxic peeks upper like that, it seems like he's pretty sure that there's going to be more going on. And also, in a 4v5, one of the best ways for CTs to get back in is... Yeah, okay, he hears the singe. Yeah. Flash goes out. You know, he's on a timer right now. He knows that in about maybe 6-7 seconds, he's got to worry about it, but interestingly, he just doesn't... I mean, Sun Pius is the one that's holding it now at 58 seconds. So, helps to clear the bomb site together. Weirdly, no plant. Like, they really think that something's going to happen here. And they decide to plant at the corner of the bomb train. But this is a little bit awkward for Tanir. He doesn't want to go back into pop and get a possibly better position. I think as soon as that player dies, though, you would consider moving. Yeah, okay, see, yeah, now he tucks. Now he tucks. So yeah, if Wycadia actually came out and looked left, he would have actually just straight up killed Tanir in the side of the head, but Yeah, Tanir full commits to holding these angles. Like, he's just so conscious of the next point of contact in this game. And I'd say most games. It's one of the best parts about this guy. Okay, molly, nade, double nade. They molly and double nade. That's how afraid they are of this Aurora push. Look at the flash still comes out. There's still a push coming out from Aurora. He's got to be just so ready for this. Man, his tracking is so clean, though. Like, look at when he's holding these angles. His crosshair, it's not like he's jerking the crosshair into the side of the wall every time. He's just holding it. He's just following the corner of the wall. I feel like this is so weird that more players don't do that, but watching some of even the best players' mechanics, they just kind of get lazy, but that's something that just makes you more consistent. When there's less windows of opportunity for the opponents to peek you, and you just hold your crosshair right on these angles, I think that's something that keeps me kind of good, even though I'm a boomer. I'm not gonna lie. Like, good reaction, good flick back as he's clearing. Again, low sense abuser. Again, I think that might have been his first bullet, too. Like, it was very early, first or second. But yeah, just keeping your crosshair on the corner of walls is so important. Like, instead of just peeking angles and not tracing them. Yeah, so clean, so clean. So satisfying to watch this guy's crosshair. Not the actual little plus sign, like mini plus sign that he's got. I'm not sure if I like that. In fact, I don't think I do. So left, right click, throw, on the run at a certain spot. That kind of stuff takes some feeling after a while. Oh, bad flash. Okay. So it looks like it's going to be a double clear with Linus pop. Okay, no. No, actually, just going to let Linus do it. So the swing here, just a crouch peek instead of the wide swing. Doesn't expect the op to be there. Maybe there was a signal earlier. No, the op is actually towards B, so yeah. Always make sure to hard clear that. Lurk smoke coming out of upper. This is a whiff. I don't think that's supposed to land there. I definitely don't think that's supposed to land there. I think he was trying to make that land on the ledge. That doesn't seem to be all that useful. Unless I'm completely missing something. Please correct me if I am, but yeah, just walks out lower at this point. The timing between him and Wycadia, like, these are two youngsters that are willing to take risks. This feels a little bit crazy, actually, that there's nobody here. And I think that the alarm bells might ring in a second here. Wow, Linus turns right then, and Tanir, yeah, that's... Oh, he doesn't know, though, for sure. Oh, okay, okay. So they had an idea that Woxic was around there, and now... Whatever, it's not Tanir. Oh, did they lose this? Okay. Alright. Alright, back to B. Throws the early smoke once again. It's kind of crazy how far that actually goes to block it. Like, you can throw that right away to stop any sort of upper peak. Like, no chance that they can actually get that off in time. And it seems like they're aware of the pop play, so they throw a molly, and in the 7 seconds that it's up, they can do a little bit of a clear towards lower, make sure that nobody's there immediately. Wow, that is a flash. And it did absolutely nothing. Wait a second. I gotta see that from Jota's perspective. Okay, these molly, Singe is there. That is a crazy flash. Wow. One thing that I'm also going to note, if you guys haven't played much Train or haven't watched a lot of pro games, the area that Jota plays right here may look bad because you're kind of holding a perpendicular angle, like where they can swing you right head on like this. But there is a shadow advantage right here, where if the T's are peeking, you can see their shadow in advance. So this angle actually is extremely powerful to be standing right there. Good flash. Like, if they're deep in the hole, I'm sure it's good. If they're there, they have to at least turn, but Jota just hits a really nice shot, so... Alright. Last round of the half. Tanir on 13 and 5. I think that means he just dies here, but we'll see what he throws again. And they're just switching up the utility and the timings of it every single time. Sun Pius goes for the contact play on Wycadia there. Wycadia's going to need to start worrying about upper soon, so he actually plays the side of the bomb train, or side of the Thomas, you can see right there. Tanir still holds on to that space. kind of a fun interaction. Like, you know, he throws the smoke there, and instead of backing up like most people might go here, he wants to back up on sidewalk so you don't get peeked from upper, just by the way. Just a really good way of anchoring B. Again, clears the deep angle. Doesn't want to get tricked by that. And he just moved while he threw that. Okay, that's dumb. That is dumb. That frustrates me. So, no lurk smoke to work with. Just smokes himself. Molotov for Cloud. Pretty much you want to molly off the God spot every time. In the beginning of train, people weren't throwing... Wow, okay. Nothing you can really do about that. Entering on out of upper. In the beginning of train, a lot of people weren't mauling that, and that was pretty weird to me. I felt like it was pretty easy to learn that Molotov, but I saw in some of the early like tier 1 train games, people were refusing to throw that Molotov. But otherwise, I mean, you could see Tanir right there. Very conscious about the way that he takes space. Very great crosshair placement in terms of the way he clears all of his angles. He's extremely thorough. Also trusts his reads. Good little pieces of utility. A lot of mix-up for his position, so it's not the same steady diet of smoke deep, molly close. You notice that they kind of, after YKD started pushing it, though, they had to do molly nade nade. A lot of the time, they really didn't want to get peaked. Yeah, you kind of just have to do that. If you don't throw this molly... If you don't throw this molly, and I think this is one of the weird design elements of train right now, if you don't throw that, this CT can just slink right over here, and then you're just stuck taking a long time clearing all of this out in kind of unfavorable fights. And if you don't throw that molly too early, and that smoke, then you can't clear pop. Then the CTs kind of know you do not have pop control. Like, if you're not throwing all of this, and they know they could have snuck into there, they know that you also don't have it. So... yeah, you have to expend a lot of utility as a B-side defaulter. So, just things to note. Back 6 to kick things off. Molly already flies in his face. Make sure that nobody's coming from Ivy. You know, gonna glance at that. Not too often. I think they now know where every single player is from the Aurora side. So, yep, single one tap right there. Like, this is the good stuff about Tanir. And then he's kind of lost this other player in Jota, but I think he's just gonna clear this. And, dude, he uses 2 bullets. Like, he is so clean. He is definitely a low sensitivity abuser. And look at this. He uses the A4. Okay, I feel like I've been saying this a lot on my co-streams lately, that pros need to get on the A4. Like, the damage drop-off of the A1S is impossible for me to ignore nowadays. The fact that it takes a whole nother bullet, even sometimes 2 more bullets to kill your target with body shots, is too much. And also... silencer in studio games is not that important to me. I think the only real reason is if you are actually going to be playing a position where you are always smoke spamming, then the A1S does make some sense. But if you're good enough and you can control the recoil of an A4, it's still really good. Okay? But I think that I just feel that the A1S has a chokehold on so many people that have been practicing with it for the last couple years. But now that the price is $2,900 versus $2,900, get with the times. Play like Tanir. Okay. Kind of half cleared that. If he definitely would have died if he... yeah. Just doesn't expect anybody to be playing Ivy in a 2v4 and holding. That's just such an odd way for anybody to perceive it the round. Also, they have the bomb. So, yeah. He knows this is over. Oh my god. Well, he messed this up. Yeah, I don't know what that was. Okay. That's not the old train. The old train, I think you could jump back on that in that area, but I also think he just messed up his movement. Okay, doesn't play Ivy this round. Left right click throw, aim pretty low. You get a nade that lands right there. Very strong. I'm going to back up a little bit, actually, so you guys can see the full util set again. So, because he throws a nade and a flash. So, first of all, left right click, aim at the floor, jump throw, flash right off that. That's going to bank off. You need to turn from it, but it'll blind anybody that runs out immediately. Someone already did the insta-smoke, it looks like, so they got T-main space right there. Now, yeah. Good kill. I mean, good damage, obviously, but only the one kill. And yeah, utility is just great. Kills are good. Once again, goes back to T-main. This time he's popping the molly. Actually, he's going to throw the flash. And he does a left-right bounce against that. And it's very similar to what he did in the last round. Molly deep. And he's just taking fights. He is just taking fights. He knows that their util or their weaponry is not that good, so... yeah, good smoke timing there. Keeps them at bay. He has a lot of advanced positioning. Aurora are going to have to re-clear this with just going to take a lot of time. Gets on top of red. Good space for seeing over also, but yeah, nice flash. Wow, good transfer straight down. This is what I mean. The A4 fire rate is just so good. It's so good. You might have been able to do that with the A1S, but it might have taken a half second longer and you might have gotten headshotted in that time. So, I love the A4, man. I'm just saying. I think the A4 is where you need to be going right now. You can see that LNZ is also using it right now, but there's 3 A1S users still on the team. But A4 is good. AUG is good too. A4 and AUG are both good. All right. Holding the angle. This is a great off angle here. This kind of feels like old train where you'd be playing here. Feels like this spot has lost a little bit of value lately, but yeah, backs up, gets to back red. Just a great spot to kind of keep players at bay. And yeah, duels are working out for him. Everything's working out for him. End of the game, 21-8 scoreline. Once again, the CT side rating is a 2.78. He had 147 ADR, 8-2 scoreline. Beats Aurora in the first map. Unfortunately for this series, Heroic do lose it as they lose out on Dust 2 and Mirage. Not super convincing, but they never got 10 rounds on either map. You know, it's 13-8, 13-9. Either way, Tanir, one to watch out for in the future. And thanks, guys, for watching. Yeah, got to see a really nice demo here for how to default on B-side train, playing outside a little bit too. So, stuff to learn. Be confident in the fights you take. Lower your sensitivity. And as always, being toxic is a choice.